What's up, guys? Welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to produce a song like Mood by 24kGoldn. Basically this guitar trap type of style. I actually produced a song like this really recently called TikTok Cutie. You can check it out. But this is a very, very similar beat to that. The artist really requested that it would be in that style. Basically to me, this is just like mixing a little bit of pop rock with like an electric guitar with, trap drums. It's one of the simplest tracks I've produced in a really long time. So I wanted to show this to you guys because I think a lot of newer producers especially could make this pretty easily. Like the mixing on this stuff is a little bit trickier, but as far as just like the production itself, it's really, really simple. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over this beat real quick and share how I did this. Okay, so I want to go through the song in a linear way just to kind of show you guys how this is built and broken down and built back up again. Okay, so the way the song is structured, it starts with a chorus. So literally the first thing you hear is him saying, the artist. So what we wanted to do is to really focus on the vocal melody. I'm not going to play you guys like the vocals because you can check out the song. Like this is more about the track. But because we wanted to focus on the vocals, I wanted to keep the music like as simple as possible. So really all that's going on here is a guitar sample and a little bit of vinyl sound. So we've got this. Basically, this is just a sample from Splice. That's like how simply he wanted to approach this, just like right to a loop. Usually in most cases, like I end up playing whatever is like the main instrument in our songs, but he really liked this, so we just ended up rolling with it, which is totally fine. So what is going on the processing side? So I just have a little bit of center by waves, just kind of rolling back some of the center. It's very aptly named. And then just kind of, it's not even really touching the sides. It's really just rolling back the center because I'm trying to make room for the vocal. Then I have a little bit of Valhalla vintage verb. You guys know this is like my favorite verb. I literally want to use nothing else. And when I use anything else, I'm always like, but it's not Valhalla. But basically I'll play it without it. This is what it sounds like without it. It's a lot smaller. Yeah, this 70s color setting is kind of like my jam. Because it just adds like a darker verb, like, and we still have a lot of highs. It's high cutting at 8,000 hertz, and it's rolling back a little bit of the lows, but it's still like such a dark verb, and I just have it on the concert hall mode, which is very simple. You know, a lot of the times if I want to be more dramatic, I'll go with something like ambiance, but I feel like for this where it's like subtle as well, it's not like that long of a decay. It just adds like a roominess, it adds that dimension to it. And then I just roll back the lows because I do have an 808 come in a little later, so I didn't want this to like have anything below 120. So, oh, and I forgot, of course we have a clap as well, just to kind of get some rhythm started from the get-go. So, and the way this is processed, really I just have a little like transient designer on it just to make the clap a little attackier and a little shorter. So I roll down the sustain and up the attack, and there you go. So now I have this very subtle snare fill here as well that goes with the vocal and just kind of helps support it. So in what I'm doing here, basically we've got like a little bit of just these snares. And here's what I'm doing. I am detuning them. That's quite a bit, 11 semitones. That's crazy. And this one's detuning 3 semitones. I go doo, doo, doo. You know, it's kind of classic. I got a little thickener right here, just a little bit of a rim. And I just have another snare just to create, like, differentiate the sound. A little texture, yeah. It's everything in the song is like super, super simple, but it is effective, if I dare say so. and then we got this verse, which is basically the section before, but we're just really adding in that kick and that 808 and those hats. So immediately, like the idea dynamically is, oh, we're starting really small and then we're going to like a jam section. Almost a jam session. It's like ingrained in my head to say that. But yeah, this section is supposed to be like, oh, like the party started, like we're here, this is fun. And then the pre-chorus after that actually breaks it down, and then the chorus gets big again. I talk about this all the time. I was like dynamics, especially for a song like this, which is a loop. It's one loop, so you want to like color it dynamically, otherwise it gets really boring. Everything with trap R&B, trap pop, trap rock, like, you know, the track is really there to support the vocals. Okay, so to take a look at the bass section, I actually have an 808 and like a synth bass on top of it. This is what they're doing. I don't usually do this. I usually end up going with like one 808, or if it's an 808 and a bass on top of it, it's usually like the 808 is like pedaling, and then the bass is doing something on top of it, and the 808 is like sidechained and low. But in here, I just layered them because I liked the sub of this 808, but I didn't like the cut. Like I didn't like what it sounded like when it attacked, and I like the cut on this. So you see, I did here is like I just focused on the cut of this bass and then like the nice like low sub of this, and that was like the idea underneath layering it. So and then I have a kick come in. This one's kind of nice. It's got like the little mid-range crunch. It's not just all sub frequencies. So, and of course I have the bass ducking out of the way pretty heavily of this kick. So and then I have some 808 hats here. So I usually play hats and sampler just because then I can change like the sample. I can pick something of my own. So yeah, I really like doing that. And then also I have like a lot of flexibility as far as velocity, as you guys can see right here, you know, because if you just kind of like put everything at one velocity, I mean, it just sounds like boring, but if it's kind of velocity processed, it's a little more live. So, and of course, like I wanted a very short hat. I totally rolled down the sustain on Transient Designer, added a little bit of attack. I mean, gosh, I even did this again with DSN Drum Shaper, which is a great plugin by Excellent Audio. I just wanted like the shortest, tightest hat for this as possible. So I do think I achieved that. So, and then at the top of it, I use this sample probably in like every track that has any sort of trap R&B, like any of that in it. Yeah, these like 808 kind of crashes and cymbals are so helpful to have. I love them. And then another kind of big part of this to create that trap feel is these like snare fills, these extra snares. If you check them out right here, it's like the kind of stuff they're doing. Just kind of random one shots. You know, right? Because we've got the 1, 2, 3, and 4, the clap, right? So it's all like on the beats in between, creating that syncopation, you know, like just really adding more rhythmic elements. It's good because otherwise we just have the guitar, the clap, like the drums, it can get a little bit plain. Okay, and let's transition into the pre-chorus section now. So I just have like a very quick reverse cymbal here in one of those 808 cymbals. That always works. Such an old trick, but it works so well. I have mostly like this big 808 coming in, a slightly different tone than the 808 I had before. And I didn't mention this before, but I am obsessed with this plugin Sublab. It's really inexpensive. It's like $40, I think. And it has great 808s, like very open, very thick, very like, I don't know, just exactly what you would want an 808 to do. Before I used contact libraries for 808s, or even just like one shots from Splice, imported into Sampler. All great methods. You know, this is like made 808 like very obvious and very simple for me recently, especially for demos where I don't have time to look for like an 808. I'm trying to write a song. Like I just pulled this up, like this mask off setting, fitting for 2021. It's like, I'm being badass. I'm taking my mask off. Not really, don't take your mask off, but it's kind of a interesting name. But this is a really powerful preset. This one, I usually just tweak it with distortion because it is a really, really nice sub on this one. But I usually change the character by doing this. Like dark drive is very subtle. Overdrive is gonna be very like harsh, grunge. It's like super, super harsh. So yeah, I usually just like keep it on dark drive if I'm trying to create like more like a smoother feel. But yeah, and obviously like there's like the filter, the pitch, the volume. There's a lot of settings I don't even like really like touch, and there's going a little bit of compression on it. Yeah, there's a lot of these settings I don't even touch. It just sounds really, really good from the get-go. So highly recommended. So and then I have some kind of like auxiliary sounds in this pre-chorus section. I really like this. This is like a little vocal sample that just kind of is in the background. It interacts really nicely with the top line, I think. So yeah, I have a little bit of Altar Boy. I also have like One Knob Pumper, which I freaking love. It just adds like that wah, 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 wah. This is the best way I can do like the sidechain. And then I have, this is just like a preset I made called Make Me Old. I throw it on anything I want to age down. It's basically, or age up. Like what's the right way to say this? But yeah, it just adds like wow and flutter and all of these like really lovely kind of vintagey like wear on isotope vinyl, and J37s from Waves is pretty good too. Now like I said, super simple song. I also have a little bit of sound effects here. This artist has a really young audience, so, and I knew that kind of like the meaning of the song is also like, oh, we're back in the summer, like we used to party, like go to the pool together, like, and now you're not here anymore. It's like nostalgic, but I kind of wanted to add a little bit of like party sounds. So I literally have like pool splashes and like these people just like in the background talking and whatever. And this is just really tucked low. It's like subliminal. I don't usually do effects like this, but for this, it kind of just like made sense. So I did it. All right, let's go to the chorus next. Okay, yeah, so we switched to the chorus to this 808 because like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this one was a lot like rounder and smoother. And it had like a little bit of that pitch drop at the top of the transient. This one is different. It's got that, like, it's got a little bit more of that overdrive. It's harsher at the top too. It's got more of a transient because we're not pairing it with this like bass thickener situation. So I chose that for the chorus for that reason. You know, we get the kick back from the verse. We get the hats back from the verse. We get a little bit of other things in here. This is just like actually a sample I had that I've built from another session, and I thought it fit really well. Basically, I don't remember what this is. Probably like Analog Lab or Diva or something. I played the chords, printed it down to Wave, and then used like the transposition, basically to like create that verify effect, like at the end. So, and I have like those coming in, I think, at the top of every 2 bars, just like a little in the background situation. And yeah, the clap is back. I actually don't have the busy hats in here because the melody is really busy in this chorus. It's like da 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 da. So I didn't want to have those, get all of those snares just fighting with the vocals. So it kept it simpler. But I did add a little bit of something different, another guitar sample underneath it. This is interesting. It sounds so weird solo. I want to hear this paired with this guitar. I I just basically wanted something pedaling in the background, something looped that created width and created a little bit of feeling wise, emotion wise, like nostalgia. Cause like I said, the song is like missing a summer love basically. So I think about this a lot as a producer. Like I guess I'm a writer too and an artist. So for me, I'm like, oh, how am I serving the song and the lyric, you know, and to me, like creating more of a nostalgic feel, because without this thing, this track really just sounds like very like kind of clean and just really, I don't know, it is what it is. Like if you check it out, it doesn't have depth or space, but you add this thing and suddenly it's like, oh, like there's something in the background that's pedaling. It creates like more emotion. So yeah, and yeah, this thing is really, I just cut up the sample and then I got it the hell out of the center just so it's mostly like on the sides. So that's how I did that. All right, and honestly, this is pretty much it for the song. There's like a few things added later on. I would just show you guys this entrance to the second verse because this is also like a very common trap kind of hip hop technique. Yeah, basically for like, it's not even a full bar. For half a bar, I just kind of default to just the bass. And then I have a little reverse cymbal right here splashing in and bringing in the drums. But it's really nice to just delete a few elements of the track here and there. So it creates that like pocket of like, oh, it's gone. Oh, it's back. It's like dynamics again. I do make a lot of songs, loop songs, you know, I mean, most pop songwriters do. It's like the bread and butter of pop songwriting a lot of the times is the same chords. So over and over again. So your dynamics is everything as far as building that up and making that feel very nice. All right, guys, and this is it. This is how you can produce that kind of trap, rock, pop style. As always, if you have questions, leave them down below. I know I can go really fast. If you didn't catch something, if I forgot to show something, always feel free to ask. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.